It was Thanksgiving Day, 2018, in Woodland Park, Colorado. The crisp autumn air carried the smell of cinnamon and sweet potatoes. Inside a small townhouse, 29-year-old Kelsey Berreth moved quietly around her kitchen, the sound of her baby's laughter echoing down the hall. It was supposed to be a simple, peaceful Thanksgiving filled with warmth, family, and gratitude before the winter snows arrived. But that night, behind those cozy walls, something truly unimaginable happened. By morning, the home that once held so much laughter would become the center of a mystery that would shock an entire nation. Kelsey Berreth was born in Washington State in 1989 and grew up in the quiet farming town of Moses Lake. She was a farm girl, through and through disciplined, kind, and full of dreams. Her greatest love was flying. After high school, she chased that dream with everything she had, earning her wings and becoming a flight instructor. Her students adored her for her calm focus and her unwavering patience qualities that would later define how she faced life itself. In 2016, a new chapter began for Kelsey. She moved to Colorado for a job with DAS Aviation in Pueblo. There, surrounded by wide-open skies and fresh mountain air, she felt truly free. That same year, through an online dating site, she met Patrick Frazia, rugged rancher from the nearby town of Florissant. Patrick was charming, good with animals, and seemed like the steady, reliable partner Kelsey had always hoped for. Within just a few months, they were engaged, and by 2017, they welcomed a beautiful baby girl they named Kaylee. But what looked like a picture-perfect family on the outside soon began to fracture. Kelsey dreamed of creating a loving home of her own, but Patrick preferred staying on his family's ranch with his mother, Sheila. Living there never felt right to Kelsey, so she rented a cozy townhouse nearby, hoping that a little independence might bring them some peace. She still visited Patrick often, trying her best to hold on to their fragile relationship. But Patrick remained distant, controlling, evasive, and emotionally cold. Still, Kelsey stayed hopeful. For her daughter's sake, she truly believed that love could still heal what was broken between them. On Thanksgiving Day 2018, Kelsey started her morning just like any other young mother would, baking cinnamon rolls, playing with her 1-year-old daughter, and sending a warm, thoughtful text to Patrick. "I bought sweet potatoes in case you wanted sweet potato casserole, but I forgot the pecans." It was the kind of small, ordinary message that revealed her gentle heart, and it would later become one of the final haunting traces of her life. Days passed with complete silence. Kelsey's mother, Cheryl, began to worry. Her calls went straight to voicemail. Her messages were never read. On December 2nd, the police arrived at Kelsey's townhouse to conduct a welfare check. Both of her cars were parked outside, just as they should be. Inside, everything looked untouched. The cinnamon rolls were still sitting on the counter, and baby toys were neatly stacked in the corner. But Kelsey was gone. Her purse and phone were missing, yet there was no sign that she had left willingly. Investigators quickly learned that Kelsey's phone had pinged hundreds of miles away in Gooding, Idaho, days after she had disappeared. It made absolutely no sense. All of her belongings and both of her cars were still in Colorado. How could her phone possibly be so far away? Attention immediately turned to Patrick. When he was questioned, he seemed eerily calm, almost emotionless. He told detectives that he and Kelsey had broken up the day before Thanksgiving, that she had simply handed over their daughter and walked away. But Kelsey's mother knew that wasn't true. Her daughter had been happy and cheerful that morning, chatting excitedly about her Thanksgiving plans. There was absolutely no hint of a breakup. Then Patrick added another layer to his story, claiming Kelsey had been depressed, possibly using drugs, maybe even checking herself into rehab. But those who knew her best rejected that idea completely. Kelsey was reliable, deeply devoted to her baby, and firmly rooted in her faith. Detectives sensed something much darker was at play. They began digging into Patrick's phone records, and what they found changed everything. He had been in constant contact with a woman in Idaho named Crystal, a nurse and single mother of 2. At first, Crystal denied even knowing Patrick, but the evidence told a different story. Under mounting pressure from investigators, she finally confessed the whole truth. She and Patrick had met years earlier through rodeo competitions. She had loved him deeply and blindly. For years, Patrick had drifted in and out of her life, always knowing how to pull her back in. By 2018, they had rekindled their affair. But when Crystal discovered he was engaged and had a baby with another woman, she was devastated. Patrick knew exactly how to manipulate her pain. He told her that Kelsey was abusive, unstable, and an unfit mother. And then, he made a horrifying request. He asked her to help him get rid of Kelsey. Crystal's love for him twisted into complicity. In September 2018, she drove to Kelsey's townhouse disguised as a friendly neighbor, carrying a cup of poisoned coffee. But Kelsey never drank it. Patrick was furious. He ordered her to try again. The second time she brought a metal pipe, but fear stopped her. The third time it was a baseball bat, but she fled when she saw a police car drive by. Each time she failed. Patrick's anger grew darker. Then came Thanksgiving Day. Patrick arrived at Kelsey's townhouse that evening, holding their daughter in his arms. They shared dinner together. Everything seemed calm, normal. Later, Patrick suggested they play a simple game-guessing candle sense while blindfolded. Kelsey smiled, trusting him completely. As she leaned forward to smell the next candle, he raised a baseball bat and struck her, again and again. Hours later, he called Crystal. When she arrived, she walked into a nightmare. Blood was splattered on the floors, the walls, and even on the child's toys. Patrick ordered her to clean it all up. She brought bleach, gloves, and plastic covers. As she scrubbed away the evidence of his crime, she later admitted that she deliberately left small traces of blood behind, a silent cry for justice for Kelsey. When they finished cleaning, Patrick took her to his ranch. There, inside a large metal trough, lay Kelsey's body, wrapped in plastic. He poured gasoline and motor oil over it and set it on fire. The flames burned through the night. Crystal later said that Patrick's mother, Sheila, even stepped out onto the porch and looked toward the fire, but said nothing. To complete the cover-up, Crystal drove Kelsey's phone to Idaho and sent fake text messages from it, pretending she was still alive and had left on her own. But the lies didn't last. The police uncovered the truth piece by piece surveillance footage showing Patrick at Kelsey's home, cell tower data placing him near the scene, and finally, Crystal's full confession. In December 2018, Patrick Frazee was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. During the trial, prosecutors revealed even more chilling details, including Patrick's attempts to have key witnesses killed while he was behind bars. After weeks of testimony, the jury returned a verdict: guilty on all counts. Patrick Frazee was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 156 years for related charges. Crystal, in exchange for her cooperation and testimony, received a dramatically reduced sentence, just 18 months in jail. She was released soon after. Kelsey's parents, Cheryl and Daryl, were granted full custody of little Kaylee. They are now raising her on their family farm in Washington, the very same fields where Kelsey herself once dreamed of flying. Despite efforts from Patrick's mother to gain custody, the court chose stability, love, and safety for the child. To this day, Patrick Frazee maintains his innocence. But the evidence tells a very different story, a story of obsession, control, and ultimate betrayal. Investigators believe his motive was rooted in a twisted desire for power, a desire to possess his daughter completely, and to erase anyone who stood in his way. Kelsey Berreth's story is a haunting reminder of how love can be twisted into manipulation, and how trust can become a weapon in the wrong hands. She was a daughter, a mother, and a dreamer, a woman whose incredible kindness outshone the darkness that took her away from this world. May she be remembered not for the cruelty of her final moments, but for the grace, warmth, and strength that truly defined her life. If you found this story moving, please consider sharing it so that her memory and her truth are never forgotten. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that deserve to be told.